Looks like we have the majority of people in, so we will get started. Good evening and welcome to New London High School. A couple of general announcements here right at the start. I am a wanderer, so if I'm up and down the aisles or in the back, I apologize. It's easier than me standing at the podium. 2, we had a wager placed earlier today between our two counselors, Mrs. Flanders, Mr. Schussler, between it being -15 great football games last night in the world of COVID. Mrs. Flanders said she was thinking around 50 people would attend. Mr. Schussler took 125, I took 150. I'm happy to announce they will be singing Sonny and Cher at the conclusion of the event. Mr. Schussler did not know who Sonny and Cher were. Embarrassing, yes, we'll work on that. We play music every morning in the high school. Tomorrow will be Sonny and Cher. Welcome to the high school, super excited you are here. Gonna go through a couple of quick introductions before we get rolling. I'm gonna have Mrs. Flanders and Mr. Schussler stand up quickly. There are two counselors here at the high school that do a fantastic job. They will be taking you through the majority of the scheduling piece tonight. Luckily in my position, I can give them the super duper boring stuff, and I'm gonna go continue to mop the floor. Mr. Sloma, our activities director and dean of students, is in the back with his hand up there. He is currently managing a water leak down on the other end of the building, so we got a lot of fun stuff going on. And then Mrs. Bruce, our associate principal, is in the back with her hand up. That is our student service center team. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know tonight. The purpose of tonight's event is really twofold. And I won't go through everything that's up there. We really want to get you excited and comfortable with the transition to high school. We know in the world of education today, with COVID, the changing instructional models, all the things kids have been through and families have been through the last 2 years, adding one more huge transition can be overwhelming. And we have a great school here. We want you to be excited about the opportunities you have in front of you, and we're excited to work with you. If I could pick any of those up there, tonight you picked out the handouts. Explore our building. For a building that's 20 years old, we really have a magnificent facility. We have a great setup. Go check out the wood shop. Go check out our metals lab, our pods, our classrooms, our weight room, our library. It really is a great facility geared towards learning today. With technology and everything else that goes into it, we're very proud of this facility. But check things out, ask questions, and be comfortable with the scheduling process when you leave. There's a million things that can be overwhelming with the high school. From the 170 plus course options, the 50 clubs and activities, the sports, the grading system, Skyward. Everybody gets gray hair when they hear Skyward. We know that's the case, and we want it to be as smooth a transition as possible. Our mission here at the high school, really 2 parts. We want to focus on that citizen piece. Are they a good person when they leave this building? Can they take care of themselves? Are they going to make a positive impact on the world? And that comes through high expectations and accountability. The second piece, college and career readiness. If you would have asked 15 years ago, the measure of a good high school was how many kids are going to a 4-year university. We don't believe that's the case. We believe that's a great option, but we believe that whatever pathway you choose, our job is to get you prepared for that pathway. There are great careers going straight to work. There are great careers with a 2-year technical degree. There are great careers straight to the military. And there are great careers on a 4-year university path. Our job isn't to tell you one is better than the other. Our job is to make sure you're prepared for any one of those pathways. Whatever you're going to do to be successful, to meet your goals, and to be that responsible contributing citizen. And we can get you to any pathway you want. Why come to New London High School? We live in an age of open enrollment. You can go to any school you want. Why would you come here? What makes this place special? And a couple pieces. Number one, it's a safe, positive environment. Our staff in this building, when we sit down every year, we talk about what matters to us. What do we want in a school? And the first thing that comes up is never a great math program or a great science program. It's always been, are we safe? Do we have a positive place for kids and families to be? Because we know kids aren't going to learn if they don't feel safe and if it's not a positive environment. Now, I'm not saying there's not super high expectations and accountability, because those two things make it a safe and positive environment. But that's goal and mission number one all the time. And I think if you walk around and you talk to students who have been here, teachers in this building, we're able to create that through the staff we have, through our expectations, and what we hold kids and each other accountable for every day. The other piece is countless opportunities that I want to talk about. I mentioned our mission of college and career readiness. The opportunities in this building are limitless. What we tell kids every day, if you want to be a welder, fantastic. We can have you leave this building with 3/4 of your Fox Valley Tech welding credits done, saving you about $10,000, walking in with 1.5 years of school left. If you want to go to school until you're a junior, as a junior, go half days, go work for Meyer Construction the other half of your day, get paid $16 an hour, and earn school credit, we can do that. We have plenty of kids doing that right now. If you want to walk out of here and go to Brown University and then go work at Pinterest, we have a student doing that. Any opportunity you want, any career pathway, we can help you achieve that here. And you will be amazed as you go through school to learn how many advanced placement courses we have, how many youth apprenticeship opportunities we have, how many programs we have with Northland Electric, Rawhide. Just had a meeting with Tyson Foods, and they want to start having our kids go out there on a regular basis for job shadows and employment opportunities. But any job, profession, career you want, we can help you reach that. And today is really the first step in preparing yourself for that. The other pieces up there, that's why we have a great school. And that collection of individuals on the right, we have a fantastic staff. We have not had one teacher resign or leave due to finding a different job in another place, with the exception of a counselor who took a job closer to home. Job retention, having a team that's accountable to one another, is very important. Builds consistency, builds consistent expectations and accountability for your staff, which in turn helps teach kids. So extremely proud of the staff you're going to meet tonight as you walk around the building. They're fantastic. What I want the kids in this room to do today and to start thinking about, because really your career, your high school career starts now with the scheduling process. What are you interested in? And I don't expect you to know, hey, you want to be an electrician, or you want to be a lawyer, or a doctor. You don't have to know that. If you do, fantastic. You can start charting your path right now. But if you don't, where do you need to be academically to have the most options? And third, how do you set yourself up for future success? I have a kid today. He wants to take youth apprenticeship as a junior. So he wants to go to Bolt Construction. They have a job lined up for him, $16 an hour, gets to earn credits, gets to go to school for half a day, but he hasn't taken the necessary courses freshman and sophomore year to be able to go. He's credit short. Okay? So he's frustrated. If he would have planned, if he would have followed through on his original plan, he'd be in a better position now as a junior. So what you do freshman year and sophomore year will matter. Will you be able to take a youth apprenticeship? Will you be able to take dual credit courses? Will you be able to go to the automotive program at Rawhide and get your auto tech repair degree paid for as a senior? What you do as a freshman is going to matter. The grades you earn are going to matter and help determine what pathways you can take. So when you schedule today, or start the process. You'll start scheduling actually later in the week with your counselors. Very important to take it serious. And families, we want you to be involved. We want you to sit down with your son and daughter and go, what are you possibly interested in? What pathways might you want to take? What career might you want to have? Let's think about the math classes you want. Let's think about the tech classes you might want. Let's think about the Phi Ed classes you want to take to help you reach your goals. That's enough of me. I'm going to turn it over to the two counselors who will walk you through the scheduling process. Again, we know it can be overwhelming. I want to remind you, we're always here for your questions. The counselors are going to do the brunt of the work with your kids in sitting down with them and walking through plans. We want you to just be involved, have those conversations, and be as involved as you can in your kid's education. We can tell the minute we talk to a kid whether their parents are involved or not, and this is a great first step with your involvement in coming to this event. So I thank you for being here. At the conclusion, make sure you walk around the entire building, check things out, go into classrooms, talk to teachers. We have a whole bunch of Percy's Pro Shop gift cards. If you fill out that passport, put your name on it, we'll draw a bunch of those at the conclusion of the night. You don't have to stick around. We will send it to the school you are at. So when you come to a basketball game or a football game or next year, you'll have Percy's Pro Shop dollars to buy some merchandise. Thanks for your time. Again, Mrs. Flanders and Mr. Schussler.
All right, so welcome to the informational scheduling portion of this presentation. As mentioned, I am Cassidy Flanders. I'm high school counselor for last names that begin with A through L.
And I'm Riley Schussler. I'm the counselors for all last names beginning M through Z, so the bottom half of the alphabet there. As high school counselors, we focus on three main categories. The first is academics, second is career guidance, and the third is the social and emotional counseling. The academic and the career piece are our most focused on of those three. Our main goal is to ensure the school's mission, which is to make sure every student is college and career ready. A big part of that piece is scheduling, and we look forward to working with your son or daughter to put one of those together. At New London High School, students are required to earn 24 credits to graduate. The information on the slide breaks down the credits needed to walk the stage as a senior. The requirements we highlighted in red are what we call core classes. These core classes consist of English, math, science, and social science. These are the core content areas that will be consistently taught over the course of 4 years.
The other requirements include physical education, which should be completed over the course of 3 separate years, financial literacy component, health, which should be done in the middle school if it has not been offered or if you moved in or something. We do offer a summer option to remediate this. We also include 8.5 elective credits. There's also a transitional planning piece for your portfolio and senior exit survey. It's important to also know that while we are scheduling your schedules, your core classes will take precedent over your elective courses.
As a freshman, several courses will already be chosen for you. This includes a language arts class, which will either be Honors English or regular English 1. Honors English is decided through an application process as an 8th grader. If you don't start an Honors English freshman year, that doesn't mean you can't take it later. It can be taken at any time. Secondly, a math class will be taken or will be put into your child's schedule. This will either be pre-algebra, algebra, or geometry. It's based on what you're currently taking at the 8th grade level, how well you're doing, and teacher recommendation. We do encourage, if your son or daughter earns a C or lower in algebra as an 8th grader, we recommend that you take it again at the high school. Thirdly, a science class will be scheduled for you already. This will either be biology or general science. For the bulk of the kids, it's going to be biology. For a few, it will be general science based off teacher recommendation and performance. And then lastly, social studies credit, which will be global studies, will already be pre-entered in your schedule.
A great thing about being at the high school level is students will have a little bit more flexibility to take courses that they are interested in. Freshman students will have the option to indulge into a couple different options for their courses. The first is physical education. As a freshman, you'll have the opportunity to take either PE Foundations or Weight Training 1. While going throughout this night, we definitely recommend you going to the physical education department to discuss the differences and the pathways between these two classes. As mentioned, the elective courses and what Mr. Yerke said of if you are interested in going one pathway, we can get you there. So this is, by the elective courses, this is how you're gonna get there. Freshmen have the opportunity to go into band, choir, or Spanish. If you're someone who isn't interested in that or you wanna go beyond that, we definitely recommend you look into the course description guide, which you should have picked up while you walked in, to go over other elective courses. While going through these elective courses, it's really important to really start thinking about your future pathways. Where do you wanna go, what you wanna do, as Mr. Yerke really dove into. For example, if you know for sure you want to become a welder in the future, you're going to start out by taking Intro to Metalworking. By taking that class, you will then get to the pathway of taking Advanced Metals Processing and eventually going into like the Youth Apprenticeship Program like we discussed. If you know for sure you want to take AP Calculus, you'll start out by taking Geometry. Another example is if maybe you really like working with animals, and you think maybe veterinarian science would be something that intrigues you. Start off by taking pet and companion animals. Those are just some examples, and like we mentioned, tonight's gonna be a really good night to talk with the different departments to explore the different pathways and what classes you can start off. Another thing I wanna mention is maybe you really love math. Once you exceed those core components, those classes will then flow over as an elective option. So if you go beyond the 3 credits of math, it'll just go into an elective course. For students who earn a C or lower in Spanish 1 or algebra, they should be retaking those classes again in the high school level.
When scheduling courses, it's important to consider a study hall. Basically, because at the high school level, the work level is increased, so a study hall is something to consider. We typically tell parents if your student is very responsible, well organized, strong academically, they probably don't need a study hall. But if a student is also still working on some of those pieces, plays a lot of sports, or very involved in extracurriculars, a study hall might be a good option. A couple other points before we move on. We do have something called IE at the high school. This stands for Intervention and Enrichment. It's comparable to Bulldog time at the middle school, but it's much more structured. IE does act as a study hall some days, but it's not guaranteed every day. A lot of times kids are using it for club meetings, making up a test, retaking a test, working on class projects, and some other grade obligations. Secondly, study hall is not something that you need to request in your courses. If you want a study hall, you just simply leave space open and we'll put it in. Details on this are in that cheat sheet that we gave you. Lastly, study hall is not something you can earn credit for. We tell kids study hall helps ensure that you earn credits in your other classes that you're taking. In summary, if your son or daughter is strong academically, a good student, IE might be sufficient enough to get their work done.
New London High School offers many great opportunities for students to continue with their pathway and prepare themselves for their future aspirations. You can see up on the slide that a lot of these opportunities are offered for students like once they get into high school, so 11th and 12th grade. But like Mr. Yerke said, it's never too early to start planning as a freshman. There's one thing that I do want to mention. The rest of this is on the cheat sheet, so again, please reference that. But if your student takes Spanish all 4 years through Spanish 5, they have the opportunity of earning 12 to 16 retroactive college credits. So this can be used towards UW system. In the end, that can be anywhere from like $6,000 to $10,000 just by taking the classes that we offered here. So please really consider this opportunity as a huge investment for yourself down the road. The other opportunities are great to consider depending on your future aspirations, so please check out that cheat sheet and then also start planning now.
When selecting courses requests in Skyward, students and parents both have responsibilities throughout the process. Students are responsible for knowing their Skyward information, reviewing the course description guide and those possible pathways. Students should also be aware that the Skyward scheduling process to make sure that they complete that in a timely manner. Basically, you have 2 weeks to complete that. Parents should also know their Skyward login information so they can have access to their child's grades, assignments, and schedule. Students are most successful when parents are involved. So please have that conversation with your son or daughter about future options and pick courses that are relevant towards what you want to do in this life. If your student is coming from a manual, we will be sending out Skyward login information this week when we are over there.
This, excuse me, this is a visual on the Skyward scheduling process. It is in the course description guide on page 36, so don't feel the need to visualize and note this all down. We will also be going over this with the 8th grade students this week when we go to their classrooms.
In this slide, there's just some important reminders that are also highlighted in that cheat sheet. Minimum of 6 credits, that's what we're looking for when we're scheduling. Again, study hall will not earn you a credit, so don't bank on that. Pick 6 courses to fulfill that minimum. Also very important, pick 3 alternate courses. Because elective courses are not guaranteed upon request, it's very important that you have backup choices. So when a student doesn't declare those elective choices, we pick them for them. Okay, we're not the expert on you guys yet, so that's probably not the best idea, so please pick those. Because your requests directly impact our master schedule, teacher staffing, course options, there's little flexibility in schedule changes. So make sure to take some time to request the right classes, the right alternates, because your schedule is basically locked. If you need directions on how to pick classes, start by looking at your interests, classes that will challenge you, that lead to a career or a certain pathway. A post-secondary goal meets the prerequisite requirements for future classes you might want to take.
This week, we will be going over to the 8th grade classrooms to discuss with the 8th grade students on course options, how to request courses, the pathways, and other general high school information. You, as a family, will then have 2 weeks to discuss the pathways, the course requests, everything like that. So we definitely encourage that discussion at home for 2 weeks. We will then be going back over to have individual meetings with each student in 2 weeks, like I mentioned. After January 25th, Skyward will close. This will then leave us to review the requests, to see the requests and changes cannot be made. And then all schedules will be reviewed and sent back out to you in August.
In the near future, please talk as a family about course options, pathways, career interests, and review those schedule requests by January 25th date. Please reference the cheat sheet that we've gave out, a course description guide that's going to tell you exactly which class it is and help you understand what is offered, how many credits a class is worth, whether they're worth 1 credit, or a full year, or a half a credit, just a semester long, how the prerequisites work, and how the classes fit into the Lade system. Please reach out to us, your child's high school counselor, if you have any questions. We will be sending out this presentation over email, so if you want to look back for reference, you can do that. This night is for students and families to just get a picture of this building, meet our staff, meet our teachers. So please get out, go do that, ask a lot of questions, and fill up those passports. Thank you very much for coming.